Hello and welcome to another video, another episode of Coffee and Stocks. In today's video, we are going to quickly talk about news of the stimulus bill. But before we get started, how about we grab some coffee? Alright, I just want to get one thing straight, and that I'm not a financial advisor, so please do not take my words as advice. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, as well as press that amazing subscribe button, because honestly, it does go a long way in supporting the channel. Alright, so there's news of the stimulus bill, and we're gonna watch a little video right now of Nancy Pelosi having an interview on ABC, but I do want to get some numbers ahead of that, just so we get an idea of what's going on currently for the month of October. Now, current coronavirus infectious daily change, right? So as of yesterday, 52,774 new cases. This is on a daily chart, right? So 52,774 compared to 70,451 new cases that happened on Friday. Now, usually weekend numbers are pretty low because there's not new testings, or not that many new testings happening over the weekend. But tomorrow and Tuesday, we should see this number spike up again. All right, and one more thing before we get into this video is the current unemployment situation. I know this is October 2nd because they do it on a monthly basis, but the total non-farm payroll employment rose by 661,000 in September, and the unemployment rate declined to 7.9%. So that's pretty interesting to see right now, right? So let's go ahead and get into this video, and then we could go ahead and talk about it as she is doing this interview.
A lot of Americans are hurting, as you know, as well, Madam Speaker. I know you've been negotiating with the White House over a possible economic relief package, and you spoke with Secretary Mnuchin last night.
Yes.
Any closer to reaching a deal?
Well, we're seeking clarity because actually, with all due respect to some of the people in the president's administration, they're not legislators. So when they said we're accepting the language on testing, for example, they were just making a light touch. They said they changed shall to may, requirements to recommendations, a plan to a strategy, not a strategic plan. They took out 55% of the language that we had there for testing and tracing. And the tracing part is so important because communities of color have been disproportionately affected by this. So on this subject where we have agreement, we don't have agreement in the language yet, but I'm hopeful. And here's the big difference. Communities of color have more deaths than the white population. Let's just think of this. If you were a child, a Hispanic child has 8 times more chance of going to the hospital with COVID than a white child. A black child, 5 times more chance of going to the hospital than that. That's because we have not addressed the problem. The testing, the tracing, the treatment, the mask wearing, the separation, the sanitation, and all that goes with it. So again, hopefully.
So I just want to state on the initial thing that she said about the language. Now, I don't know if you guys have read a lot of contracts. There's fine letterings everywhere, and you have to read between the lines, right? So when she says shall shouldn't be in it, it should be must or stuff like that. That creates a better standard for everything that comes with this bill, right? If the bill is signed or if the stimulus bill is passed by both parties. But the thing is, shall kind of gives if he wants to, he can, but he doesn't have to, right? So that's really something that she's looking forward to, just so there's no gray area. This is gonna happen, this is gonna be done, this is gonna be pushed, and it's not gonna be like, oh well, in the bill it didn't say I had to do it, it just said I could or I may do it, but not necessarily. Now, the second thing that she did say was that Hispanics children are more likely to get the disease than the white children. Well, it depends how much they're exposed to the virus, right? So if a lot of people in the Hispanic community don't wear masks, or they're, those hardworking people have to, say for example, clean houses, clean offices and all that stuff, and they're exposed to more of that virus, that's a heavier dose that they're getting when that person comes home, or if the child isn't really being taken care of, etc., etc. So let's continue on to what she is saying.
Hopefully that we can learn from each other and they understand. And let me just say this. We had pages and pages of how you would do this in the minority community. They crossed it all out. Instead, they put this sentence: contact tracing will be paid for by the federal government as part of the $75 billion. Okay, we agree with that. But given state difference, each state shall establish a strategy that is appropriate to its circumstances. CDC can provide guidance to the states on elements. Must. But in addition to that, we have to have a national plan. You cannot leave it up to the states.
So if you
decide
don't,
how they're going to address the minority community.
if you don't get that agreement, if you don't get that agreement in the 48-hour deadline you said, what happens?
Well, here's the thing. The 48 only relates to if we want to get it done before the election, which we do.
Well, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so which we do. But we're saying to them, we have to freeze the design on some of these things. Are we going with it or not? And what is the language? I'm optimistic because, again, we've been back and forth on all of this. You know legislation. Shall is different from may. And shall, the difference amounts to this. If you think of it this simple way, when you say may, you're giving the president a slush fund. He may do this, he may grant, he may withhold. When you say shall, according to the the science tell us must happen. And if we test and trace and treat, mask, separate, ventilate, sanitize, and all the rest of that, we can open our schools.
But
we
Madam
can
Speaker,
open our businesses.
So that is pretty interesting. The thing that she said before, she is given a 48-hour deadline. Now, the 48-hour deadline is on Tuesday, right? So I just want to get one thing straight, and that in 48 hours on Tuesday, if it's not, signed or anything like that, it can cause a huge problem in the stock market. That means if it's not sold, or if it's not signed, there's going to be tons and tons of stocks that are going to go to the green side. So this can be a foreshadowing, right? In case this does not get signed, a lot of the stocks are just going to go to the downside, and we're going to have another bloody week. Mind, we've already gone through a couple of those weeks that are just red and red and red because the stimulus bill has not been passed. Now, the stimulus, if it is passed, there's certain stocks that are going to have a positive to this, right? Airlines, casinos, cruise ships, all of those will get a huge benefit if the stimulus passes, because obviously they will get a little bit of bailout money, right? So that's something positive to see if it does get signed. If it doesn't get signed, right, we are gonna have another bloody day. Now, I say it a lot because I believe in it. The stimulus talks have dragged on for months and months and months, even as, right, cases are still super high. And I don't like to talk about coronavirus and politics and all that stuff, but it makes a huge difference since we are talking about investing your money in the stock market, right? So Pelosi's Deputy Chief Staff Drew Hamill posted that the Speaker and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin spoke on the phone for more than an hour on Saturday night. He said that the agreement had to be addressed in a comprehensive manner in the next 48 hours. So the 48 only relates to if we want to get it done before the election, which we do, she said. I'm optimistic because, again, we've been back and forth on all of this. They've been back and forth. She does talk that she doesn't want to have direct contact with the president, not because she doesn't respect the president. It's because they are negotiators for this kinds of things, right? Every other president has sent their representative. Trump has also sent his representative, but she is optimistic that this can be signed and passed. But in the next 48 hours, I know current future trends for NASDAQ have risen about 0 point something percent, 1% or something like that, which is a positive thing. Monday should be a really green market, but if it doesn't go the way we all want it to go, Tuesday will be bloody, and it will happen to all of us. We will all lose a lot of money. I hope not, because as an investor, I hope we all get positive money, but this is something we really need to look into because it is very important, right? So I don't want to make this video too long. If you guys want to see this this video, I'll throw a link down in the comments in the section below. Don't forget to comment what you guys think about this. This is huge news. Even if you guys don't reside in the United States, this is something that hurts the market no matter where you're at, right? Don't forget to drop a like on this video, as well as that beautiful subscribe button, because it does go a long way in supporting the channel. And I will be doing more videos for you guys because you guys are freaking amazing, right? So I will see you guys next time on Coffee and Stocks.